Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. We're going to talk about Doctor Who. We're going to talk about the Timeless Children and the fallout from this episode. This might be the biggest blow that Doctor Who has ever suffered, at least for the modern era. A lot of people are tuning out from Doctor Who. It's really pretty tragic to see. If you go out to social media, there are so many people who have been watching Doctor Who for such a long time that were completely gutted by the unnecessary retcon that Chris Chibnall decided to go through with. We'd heard rumors, for months about this potential massive retcon to Who lore and Who history, and oh my God, he actually went through with it. I was tagged in by a gentleman named Ian. Ian, who has been a fan of Doctor Who for a very long time and has not one but two Guinness World Records for having the largest collection of Doctor Who memorabilia. This is Ian O'Brien of Manchester, both in 2013 and 2015. Largest collection of Doctor Who memorabilia in the Guinness Book of World Records, and he's checking out. Ian is checking out. He's not going to be a fan of Doctor Who anymore under Chris Chibnall. This is what you've done, BBC. This is what you've done. You've completely managed to destroy a fandom. So before we get into the video anymore, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We're almost 100,000 subs. Thank you for the support, guys. It means a lot. It definitely does. Okay. So we got a lot of things we want to talk about. The first thing I wanted to talk about was just do a follow-up here. This just broke my heart. This broke my heart that this gentleman who's been a major, this isn't even a super fan. This is like an ultra omega fan. He is like the omega fan, a Doctor Who, massive Doctor Who collector, and he's done. I can't believe this, and it's very sad to see. And I'm hearing that from other corners of Whovian fandom, that a lot of people who have been watching Doctor Who for a while, even though they were willing to give Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall a chance, the Timeless Children destroyed Who for them. It just completely destroyed the show for them. And it has. And even media outlets that are trying to defend it are pointing out all the massive plot holes that this retcon creates. Now, spoiler, if you haven't watched the show yet, I will sum it up for you. They've decided to completely retcon Doctor Who's origin. They decided to completely retcon the fact that Doctor Who was even from Gallifrey. They've retconned that Doctor Who has had many more regenerations, many more lives before the Doctors we've seen on television, and that Time Lord Society is built on a lie. They basically exploited the Doctor, who is not Gallifreyan. The Doctor is an alien from some other dimension. They exploited the Doctor to, add regeneration to their own DNA. And oh yeah, the Doctor started out as a little POC girl. The Doctor did not start out as a white dude. The Doctor was actually many little girls before the Doctor became the Doctors that we saw on TV. This is not playing well with a lot of fans. Of course, some media outlets absolutely love it. They absolutely love it. But even if you aren't happy, it's so weird because we're looking at the reviews for the cherry-picked reviews for Doctor Who season 12. We have all critics here. Now, there's a pattern here, and I'm going to talk about the audience scores. But here we have someone from Film Bunker. After 15 years of watching the show religiously on the day of release, I almost quit entirely. Somehow that's fresh. How is that a fresh review? If you go to the Timeless Children, the bullshit known as the Timeless Children, there are some reviews that are actually negative, and some folks are pointing this out. One awful boring mess. Somehow, a 2 out of 5 awful boring mess also gets a fresh rating, along with this one. I almost quit gets a fresh rating. Now the audience reviews are terrible. This has finally killed the show for me. I can't believe how bad the show went, and that hurt because I used to love the show. There are some people who loved it, right? Of course. But what a shit show. TY for the showrunner, I'm not going to care about whoever again. Worst season, not God at all. Not God at all. Been fan since the Tom Baker years. I'm done. Changing the lore of the show brings nothing I enjoy as a viewer. It only makes me sad. I'm gonna pretend this didn't happen. This is the season of Who that ruins the show. Sadly, new showrunner Chris Chibnall demonstrates not only a complete inability to write something entertaining, or write entertaining science fiction, but also a tragic disrespect for the show's fans and history. Yeah, people aren't happy. They're not happy. People are checking out. They're checking out from Doctor Who. I'm hearing about it a lot on Twitter. I think you're going to see in the coming weeks and months, you're going to see a lot of backlash. Now, the only thing that they could do to reverse this trend is if all of the stuff that we discovered in The Timeless Children turns out to be an elaborate hoax, that the Master made it all up, which I suppose is possible. It's possible. I don't know what the end goal of that would be, but it is possible. That would be the only thing that would fix it. Basically, retconning the retcon is the only thing that would fix Who at this point. And, you know, we kind of ran into this with The Rise of Skywalker, but this is a much more severe blow to Doctor Who. This would be like rewriting the entire original Star Wars trilogy and pretending it didn't happen, or that everything was a fabrication. You know, and they didn't do that. They basically just ruined our heroes from Return of the Jedi on, right? So they didn't retroactively ruin them. In this case, it's horrible. It's a horrible thing they did. The BBC did. Of course, media outlets love it. They said, did Doctor Who's Timeless Child reveal create a major plot hole? Yes. Yes, it did. And a lot of these media outlets are waving away the massive, massive plot holes created by this revelation. You know, because there was a major storyline. Matt Smith's entire story arc was around the crack in the silence. It revolved around him being on what he believed at that point in time to be his last regeneration. And at the last possible minute, he gets another set of regenerations from the Time Lords, right? And it means nothing. And they're trying to excuse it. The media is actually trying to excuse this. And I can tell you what the solution is. They talk about this. The time of the Doctor, Matt Smith's Doctor, faced almost certain doom in the Christmas special. Due to some timey-wimey stuff we don't need to explain here, the Time Lords ended up giving our Doctor a whole new regeneration cycle because they needed him to stop the Daleks. Thanks to recent events, we now know there's no limit to how many times the Doctor can regenerate. It's an innate part of whatever species they are. So they're not restricted by the same limit that the Time Lords imposed upon themselves. So why the Time Lords give Matt Smith's Doctor some extra regeneration energy if he really didn't need it? Even with his memories wiped, wouldn't the Doctor realize that there was more regeneration energy deep inside of him? The only explanation that makes canonical sense is the Time Lords knew the Doctor didn't need their help, but they had to go along with the request to send some energy anyway to keep the ruse going. If they hadn't done so, the Doctor would have eventually broken the regeneration limit on his own, causing him to question what else his fellow Time Lords were keeping from him. No, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. There was a regeneration limit. Moffat told that story specifically to explain how the Doctor could go on past his 12 regeneration limit. This was lore. This was lore established decades ago, and they threw it all out the window. They threw it out the window to chase woke points. They basically wanted to get fist bumps from Twitter and Tumblr and the friendly media. They wanted to be told that they were so progressive and so woke for making sure everybody knew the Doctor started out as a little black girl and became a little Asian girl and became a bunch of people of different color before finally settling on being a white guy for a couple of thousand years, or however long it was. He was the Doctors we saw on TV, thousands of years, right? So they didn't plan any of this. Chibnall pulled this all out of his ass. And then here we've got the friendly media again, comic book resources, no better than a Tumblr blog at this point. Oh my God, the ultimate Cybermen are these Time Lord Cybermen, the most ridiculous looking villains in recent memory on Doctor Who. We've taken the Cybermen, we've put them in Time Lord robes, absolutely ridiculous bullshit. But you're going to see that a lot of these outlets, inverse, they're all praising this decision to destroy canon. Because who the hell needs canon? These are the same people that loved what happened to Star Wars. They stuck it to the old school fans. They stuck it to the man babies. Most of these people were not longtime fans of the franchise. It's like, get out of the way, you dinosaurs, and let the new generation have this show. And the thing is the new generation doesn't want this show either, and you've alienated old school fans like Ian, who has spent countless thousands of dollars, no doubt, on his collection and decades of his life being a massive Doctor Who fan, and he is out. And I think a lot of other people are going to follow Ian. I know I am following Ian. I'm out. And Doctor Who was at one point my favorite science fiction show, bar none, on television. And I'm done. I'm done. It's dead. Doctor Who's dead. Congratulations, BBC. After nearly 6 decades, you've managed to kill off Who fandom. I hope you're proud of yourself. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up, but we'll talk to you guys later. Hey, guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.